Welcome to the Real Estate 401k Show. Here are your hosts, Ryan Gertis, Mike Weinstein, and Justin Frederick, helping you build a legacy of wealth through real estate. Powered by the Real Estate 401k Group at West USA and the Frederick team with Fairway Mortgage and MLS number 625918.
Welcome back to the Real Estate 401k Show. I'm your host, Mike Weinstein, alongside Justin Frederick with Fairway Independent Mortgage, and Ryan Gertis is off today. We decided to give him a little bit of break. Ryan is not really that person that's above of saying "I told you so." I try to stay away from it.
I don't believe that.
I know. I do. I take delight in knowing. I can go to bed at night knowing that I was right and not having to say stuff. You know, Ryan, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do a little bit of "I told you so." We have been all last year, Justin. I feel like for the most part, I don't want to call them predictions, but how we've been viewing the market and where the market is going, we've pretty much, I think, have been on
Nailed it.
point.
Nailed it.
We saw depending on who you were, but for the most part, we saw a rough 2023. But again, it depends on who you are. Many of our clients, they flourished during 2023 because we live by the mantra that money never disappears, it just moves. So we're always looking for those right opportunities. But when we take a look at the first couple months of 2024, the numbers have been improving. And the numbers are going in the right direction. And before I get into some of those numbers, Justin, the point of the matter is the numbers are going to continue to go in this direction, and jump on board right now and get something done in real estate.
Yeah. Well, we were talking a lot in end of 2022, 2023. We talked a lot about supply and demand and simple economics, how this economy wasn't going to tank like a lot of people, like our consumers were predicting, right? But the statistics were just all there showing us, the data was there showing us that we're going to continue to see appreciation even through higher interest rates. Yeah, it limited the amount of buyers that we had in that period of time, but it says right here on this paper that the appreciation has continued to happen, and we've seen listings climb. We're still seeing appreciation even with listings climbing.
Well, yeah, and according to the National Association of Realtors, speaking of listings, they've climbed nearly 6% to 6,600, and closed sales were up over 2% for January. But here's where it really gets interesting. The median sales price for single-family homes rose 5.5%, rose from $464,000 from $440,000 last year. The average sales price climbed 8.4% over the last year. So last year it was about $567,000. Now it's $615,000. We've been saying it, and we've been saying it, and we've been saying it. My question is, why haven't people been listening to this? Where are they getting their other sources of? Where are those other sources of information? What is, because you're on the lending side, you're on the mortgage side. What is keeping people back? And I know everybody's been waiting. The market's going to crash. The market's going to crash. We're not anticipating anything like that happening, and boom, here we are.
So I think it's really comfort level on a lot of instances. We have a lot of people sitting out there that, let's just say they're 35 plus age. They already own a home. They've got a stellar interest rate, but those people are the people that are wanting to invest. They're just not pulling the trigger to invest because it's uncomfortable with these interest rates. But it's the right thing to do. Leave that home with that 3% interest rate. Let that home make money. Move on to another primary residence. You know, you'll get a better rate with the primary residence, and then I say it all the time, date the rate, marry the home, right? You're going to be in that rate for a little while. We've already seen interest rates from October of 2023 at low 8s to we've moved into the 6s at some point. So we've seen good movement in those rates, and we've seen inflation drop. So we know it's just taking some time, and everything always does. It's taking some time to get in front of that inflation.
Well, and it's not just about investors. It's also about just home buyers, first-time home buyers. And when you're a first-time home buyer, working with the Real Estate 401k group. Our primary objective is to help you see all the real estate through the prism of investing, and we'll want to help you take your first home and build that real estate portfolio. But even if you're a savvy investor, nonetheless, this is where the numbers are very dangerous, because this is what I kept hearing last year. I do not want to buy something with a 7.5% interest rate. I am going to wait till it drops to 5.5%. We're not there yet, but let's just say we were at 5.5% right now, and now you're ready to jump in the game because you waited for those 2 points to drop. When I'm taking a look at these numbers, you would have bought a house for 8.4% less than what you're going to buy it today. That is a lot of money left on the table. Now, where interest rates are right now, they're going to continue to drop. And the more you wait, the more money you're leaving on the table.
If you're looking at the median house price, I mean, that's 50 grand you left on the table from last year. 50 grand. And do you think that would make a difference in your interest rate? Absolutely. If you had that money in equity, it would absolutely make a difference in your interest rate. But here's the thing is, if you do wait to that 5.5, hundreds of thousands of people are going to be back in the game again. We're going to be talking about, just like we've said it before, all those people that are the first-time home buyer wise, all those people that are needing those down payment assistance programs, FHA, VA, we're going to have a very hard time getting you into a home. It's not going to be easy. Whereas right now there's not as much competition going after these properties, but it's obvious that there's still enough competition out there, supply and demand, because our demand is still there to allow for the appreciation of these properties. I just can't imagine what's going to happen if we do see rates. It's going to be
a bloodbath again.
Yeah, but that's also going to show we're probably going to have some inflation problems again. We may not see rates stay low for very long, based on even when we saw rates drop into the high fives for a little bit of time at the beginning of January. We saw a ton of activity in mortgage applications and contracts even. So it's kind of scary to see what that could look like. Now, as far as first-time homebuyers right now, I feel like there is a lot of first-time homebuyers out there that are active and they're wanting to purchase, but they just don't have the ability, just like it says on here with affordability. We've seen affordability drop significantly. So I think that's going to continue to be an issue, especially if we continue to see appreciation, even if we see rates hit 5.5%. Because if the median sales price goes up another $50,000, it ain't going to help us.
It dawned on me. I did the lead up, but didn't give people the prompt to text. If you are looking for that strategy and understanding what that next step is for you, whether you are literally a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor, and you're looking for that strategy to build wealth in real estate, we want to encourage you to text the word buy to 623-AZ-RECON. That's buy to 623-AZ-RECON. And we are going to sit down with you and just show you how we see the market. Where do people go from here? I feel like, we were through our podcast and through our relationships and what we do for our clients, Justin, I feel like, we got through to a lot of people, and a lot of people understood how to leverage. I always said the worst thing that could happen for me as an investor is for interest rates to drop to 5.5%. I need to buy as much as I can at 7.5% because I'm going to get a better deal on homes. And now I feel like time is running out for me, right? And so we've reached and we got through to a lot of people, but I don't know the other group of people that just won't get into the game. I don't know what they need. I don't know what they're looking for. And if that 5.5% is what you're looking for, yeah, yeah, you're going to have a lower mortgage rate, but you're the mortgage expert. Chances are, if I'm buying a house for 30, 40, maybe $50,000, let's just say $30,000 more, because interest rates are down at 5.5% instead of getting it at 7.5%, my payment is going to be the same, if not higher.
Well, it would definitely be lower, but this is what you really have to look at is just a perfect scenario. We have a client that's closing this week, got $26,000 in seller concessions.
That's the X factor that we've been talking.
$26,000. Now, you think when rates are 5.5 that you're going to be able to get that much concessions? So So we got $26,000 for concessions, plus then you have $50,000 in appreciation if you did wait. So that's $76,000 that you got to make up for right there. So you're going to pay your own closing costs. Well, that's even more. Let's add another $10,000 on there because you got to pay your own closing costs when it's $50,000 higher and the rates are 5.5. So we're at $86,000 difference between right now and then. Now, this person right now that's purchasing, they did a permanent buy down, and I was not for that. I wanted them to do a temporary buy down, but they did a permanent buy down to 4.9. Now, I do think that was a pretty good idea because there's very little chance that we're going to get that low. I mean, there is people out there saying that we're going to get in the high fours, but I think it's going to be hard to get in the high fours when we just don't have enough supply out there, and there's all these people that have been stacking up to buy that are waiting for this 5.5.
Well, that really is the strategy. I think what buyers are missing is if you're in the market to buy, you have to be going in with the strategy of seller concessions to buy down that rate. So case in point, you and I have been talking, my wife and I were thinking about buying another cabin up in the Pine Top area because the one that we have, beautiful, we love it. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. This other one that we're looking at, it's 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and it backs up to the forest. Like nobody will ever be behind us. And so, and you kind of gave me the interest rate for second homes. Wasn't the most exciting number that if I got rated that in a beauty contest, I'd be stoked. Yeah. Right. But outside of that, but it took you a second there, right?
I just got deeper with it.
But that's the discussion I was having with my wife. We don't want the 8.1% second home rate. We don't, but we're going to wait a little bit because this house is going to sit on the market. We know what the seller paid for the house and so forth. And part of our strategy is we want to do a 3-2-1 temporary buy down. So year one, my interest rate's 5.1, year two, 6.2. And then I know at some point interest rates will drop to mid fives. And that is now all of a sudden, when we took a look in those terms, it now became a lot more manageable. And it's having that strategy and understanding how interest rates work and how seller concessions work.
If you waited another year, you could do a heck'em on
that. Appreciate that, pal.
I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, and for those that missed our last episode, that is reverse mortgages. I'm not quite there yet. But yeah, so it just comes down. People need to understand those strategies, and it's not. You just can't get fixated on just the rate.
Right. You cannot. But that's
so.
Why
what would a permanent buy down cost me?
Shoot, on that, you'd probably be looking at. Let's just say you're trying to get to the sixes. You'd probably be looking at about 4 points.
Yeah, but you get the seller to pay for a lot of it all of a sudden. And I'm not saying a permanent buy down's necessarily the way to go, but what I am saying is, talk to Justin and his team because they're going to give you all your options. You're going to tell me what I should do and what I shouldn't do.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to give educated information to help you come up with a strategy so you know what you're getting into. And that's the key. Is it may not be as far from obtainable as you think it is. A lot of people come in and they think that we have it all the time. We have people that think that they're not going to qualify for much. They think their credit score is low, and we pull their credit, it's 800. those are the best ones. They just haven't done the research in 10 years, and they're thinking that their credit's like it was when they were in their 20s,
Yeah.
when they were going to the bar all the time and they had maxed out credit cards. It's not the same. They're in a lot better position, and once they start getting this information, they either decide to move forward or they decide to hold back. But it gives you the information you need.
And having a conversation with you guys and having a conversation with us, it doesn't lock you into anything. And that's just the thing. So understanding what programs, what options you have available, what options are out there for you, have that conversation, and then you can go from there. Because going back to how we started this episode, everything that we said about 2024 is happening. And there is I think, a very limited time when you're talking about the calendar year to really be able to take advantage of getting seller concessions and having those rate buy downs.
I agree. I say maximum, I feel like maximum you have 6 months for that. I think once we hit August, I think that we're really going to be limited on where we're at.
I think we're personally, now we're talking about personal predictions, so this should not be nobody should hold us to this.
Yeah, please don't.
I'm thinking May.
Yeah,
End of May, beginning of June. I think the rates are going to get cut, and I think then where I do agree with you, I think as we get closer. Well, you didn't say it, but you kind of alluded to the time of year. I think leading up, and this is not a political statement whatsoever, but it just seems like we benefit. We always benefit, when it comes down to gas prices and interest rates during an election.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to benefit from that, and I think seller concessions for the most part are off the table.
See, I think that we will see the Fed cut rates in May, but it takes a little time for that to kick into gear and really see those active buyers come out. And now, typically, summertime is huge for active buyers, no matter what the interest rates look like. I mean, even last year, summer was busier than any other part of the year, right? So I definitely think that will help. But I think we will definitely see at least 2 rate cuts before August, and I think we'll see rates really moving in the right direction.
Well, at the very least, I can't implore any more of how important it is to at least pick up your phone and text the word buy to 623-AZ-RECON. Have a free consultation or have a free strategy session with us. No, before you just put your fingers in your ear and stick your tongue out and say, la, 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 I can't hear you, which you've been doing for so much of just about, so many months, listening to social media and grandma and grandpa, whatever. Just get the facts, get the options, and then make a decision from there. And we'd love to help you do that. All you got to do is text the word buy to 623-AZ-RECON. That's buy to 623-AZ-RECON.
Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate 401k Show. If you want more information on how to build wealth, click on the link or text us at 623-297-3266. That's 623-AZ-RECON.